Let the meeting begin. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chantal Wolf, and I'm the case manager assigned to this IEP. I'll be taking notes throughout this meeting in order to come to a conclusion at the end. We will first review the agenda, and everyone will be introduced. Firstly, we'll have introductions, the procedural safeguards, review of the IEP, review of placement, and lastly, we'll have questions. Now we will go around the table and introduce ourselves. My name is Chantal Wolf, and I am a special education teacher who has been assigned to John Doe's multidisciplinary team.
Good morning, my name is Cheyenne Millet, and I am John Doe's physical education teacher.
Good morning, my name is Alana Doe, and I am the mother of John Doe.
Good morning, my name is Jason Doe, and I am the father of John Doe.
Good morning, my name is Elena Duga, and I am the occupational therapist whom is working with John Doe.
Hi, good day. I am the LEA District Representative, which is your local educational agency district representative. I am here to speak a little bit about dyslexia and to inform you briefly about what affects persons with dyslexia as well as the family members.
Pleasant good morning, Mrs. Doe. How is everything today? I understand you have some concerns with John's academic challenges. Is a willing, respectable, well-behaved child. However, I am also concerned with his reading, punctuation, spelling, and word solving problems in mathematics. In mathematics, there are several mental processes. These involve reasoning concept formation, mental processing speed, long-term working memory, and attention. I notice he's having difficulties in these areas. Additionally, Mrs. Doe, he loses focus during class time, and he does his work at a slow pace. I tried moving John closer to the blackboard. Even I started giving him one-on-one attention frequently. Nevertheless, Mrs. Doe, I am still seeing a lack of improvement. Mrs. Doe, I want to assure you, there is always hope for John. Do not give up. I am here to assist you and give you the support where concerns your son's academic challenges.
Everyone, I do hope that all is well. Let me begin by saying that the remedial classes in which John had previously been engaged in did not have a great impact on his ability to read fluently or his ability to understand the written word correctly. As a result of this, John is now experiencing difficulties solving worded problems in mathematics. The ability to solve mathematical equations involves a thinking process that is acquired from a young age. This thinking process, however, helps the child to read a given problem and then visualize the expected outcome in order to proceed and follow the necessary steps, solve the equation. The child will then build on this ability as he or she learns more content and is exposed to more information or real-life situations. From John's work, he has the ability to solve mathematical equations, but poses great difficulties solving mathematical worded problems, therefore suggesting that he has not been able to build on that thinking process ability regarding ability to read and understand a written word. I have also noticed that John displays lack of self-confidence. This can be a contributing factor to John's ability to perform as expected in the classroom.
Good morning, everyone. As I have mentioned before, my name is Cheyenne Millet, and I am John Doe's physical education teacher. I'm very pleased to be a part of this meeting. Based on my observations, I found that John is a very caring and loving student. He evidently loves to partake in physical activities during the practical events of class. John is a very good listener who also has the ability to recognize low intensity sounds and is able to detect which direction it came from and what type of sound it may be. However, John has dyslexia, which causes most of his reading challenges. John has also been wearing glasses due to his visual impairment. This helps to reduce minor challenges he faces at school. He is experiencing difficulty focusing during the theoretical aspect of physical education. He shows signs of low self esteem and becomes anxious during the reading sessions in class. During his drawing and writing sessions, he possessed a four-finger grip on his pencil and pressed down hard on his paper. He also experiences letter formation problems while writing his essay and printing dictated spelling words. His short-term memory is at an average level for his age.
Upon observation, I witnessed that John is a pleasant individual. On the day of testing, he was cooperative, willing, and completed all his tasks and awaited instructions. During the writing activity, he displayed a four-finger grip on his pencil and pushed down quite hard on his paper. John maintained good eye contact and gift. He also maintained a positive outlook once he moved past the reading challenge. In mathematics, he scored below average range compared to his peers. John's score in numeral operation was corresponding with his age. He enjoyed the subtest. His problem-solving score was below what was expected for his functioning. John experiences difficulty in areas of reasoning which involves the use of words.
Good morning. My name is Charlene, and I am the social worker assigned to John's case. When I visited Mrs. Doe, she explained to me all that I needed to know about John. I will begin by saying that John is the only child to Mr. and Mrs. Doe. He is a well-behaved child, but is a bit fussy when it comes to his meal of choice, since he prefers KFC all the time. John developed a sense of patience, a level of patience, when both his parents were separated. This meant that John developed a level of loving and caring and turned out to be a very good listener and gave wonderful advice. John enjoys indoor activities with his mom, such as playing dominoes, whereas with his dad, he enjoyed outdoor activities like going to the beach, playing with his remote control cars, and even playing football. John is also aware of his academic challenges, especially in reading. Mrs. Doe mentioned of hearing him self-correcting while reading and writing. And he is aware of all his errors, but when he comes home from school, his notes are incomplete, and sometimes his homework or his schoolwork is also incomplete. When reading is involved, John lacks confidence and becomes very anxious and worried. His mother believes that John has difficulty in some way in reading especially, and this is where his self-esteem lies. But with guidance, he is able to complete all of his assignments, but he has to be constantly encouraged. She also mentioned that both Mr. and Mrs. Doe are trying to give their relationship another chance to see whether or not that will help with John's academic challenges.
Hi, good morning. I am the school psychologist, Karima Ranga. Before we begin, are there any questions? Any queries? Okay, no, so we can proceed. I can assure you that this is a confidential meeting, so please feel free and comfortable to discuss any concerns or queries that you have about John with me. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time when I'm speaking, okay? Firstly, with regards to John, I would just like to let you both know, as the parents, to be aware that children are likely to be experiencing worry, anxiety, and fear just as we do, just as adults do. They experience the same fears we have, the same experiences we have. They experience it, the emotions the same way. So you don't want to pressure John. Rather, you can do simple things such as uplifting him, saying you're doing great, keep it up, you can do this, that's okay, try again later. Just as children develop physically at different rates, so too do children develop at different rates cognitively. So it's quite okay, and I am here to support you both, being the parents, to assist you with John and his academic challenges. I am here to make sure that everything goes as smoothly and simple as possible for you both mentally and for John. So, anytime, feel free to contact me. I'll leave my contact number, and any questions, any queries, just come to me. Anything you want to get off your mind, if you think John needs to speak to someone, he can come to me. I am here. I'm one call away. Thank you. Symptoms of dyslexia in children aged 5 to 12 include problems learning the names of the sounds, learning the letters of the sound, and spelling inconsistently, putting letters and figures the wrong way, such as writing a B instead of a D. So dyslexia affects the family in a variety of ways. One of the most obvious is if there are siblings. The non-dyslexic child often feels jealous of the dyslexic child, who gets the majority of the parents' attention, time, and money. It also affects the parents mentally. Dealing with a child with dyslexia, the parents often think who, why, when, how. The questions go on and on in their mind, and this is something that mentally affects them, and that is why they are psychologists in these programs. So, dyslexia is a learning disorder that involves difficulty reading due to problems identifying speech, sounds, and learning how they relate to letters and words, which is also known as decoding. Also called a reading disability, dyslexia affects areas of the brain that process language. One very important element of dyslexia is the effect that it has on behavior. Many behavioral issues can manifest themselves when an individual's dyslexia is not addressed and treated properly. A child with dyslexia may start telling jokes, act out in other ways, or even run away to avoid situations that involve reading. So that is something that we would always pay attention to in children. Dyslexia often affects oral language functioning. Affected persons may have trouble finding the right words, they may stammer, or they may pause before they answer directed questions. This often puts them at a disadvantage when they enter adolescence, when the language becomes more central to their relationship with their peers. Dyslexia doesn't only affect the person, it also affects the family members.
The next item on our agenda is the procedural safeguards. I'm going to pass out the procedural safeguards to all participants in a short while. Firstly, we are going to review some of the aspects of the safeguards that are important to this meeting. Elena, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me at any time. Before we move on, I need you to understand that as a parent of John, you have the right to receive a written document when a school district refuses or proposes to initiate key aspects of your child's services. There is also a document called the Parents' Rights, which will help you to understand your role in this process.
So what you are saying is that we can use this booklet called Parents' Rights to understand all the information we need to know about the special education process.
The Parents' Rights booklet will give you all the information you need regarding the special education process. In the next part of our meeting, we would go on to discuss how to best support John and review his individualized education plan. The outcome of this meeting is to review and make possible changes to the student's IEP. All members of the team are important and their thoughts should be heard. Let us all be mindful, however, that everyone has a schedule and needs to be elsewhere at the end of this meeting. We want to be respectful of everyone's time and move along with this meeting. Now let's review the demographic information at the top of the IEP to ensure all information on this IEP is correct. Can the parents of John please review the demographic information at the top of the IEP document to ensure that all the information is written correctly?
Yes, the demographic data on the IEP is quite correct. This is our current mailing address and telephone numbers. The age and grade level is also correct.
Great. Now that all the information is correct, we can now go on to review present levels. The information here tells us about how John has been doing. We will consider both the academic and functional performances at this time. As a special education teacher, I believe that John, though, is still traumatized about the relationship his mother and father had, and this affects him emotionally, as he may feel unloved or if there is no form of stability in his life. Slowed academic development is a common way in which separation and negative relationships between parents can affect children. The emotional stress alone can be enough to stunt a child's academic progress, but the lifestyle changes and instability of a broken family can contribute to poor educational outcomes. This being considered, it can be shown clearly that the first three levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs have not been met. The three levels that have not been met are safety needs, belongingness and love needs, and esteem needs. Therefore, John is not at a stage where he's comfortable to learn. My suggestion will be that attention be placed on the emotional and psychological development. This will allow John to feel comfortable within a learning environment, thus resulting in him being motivated to learn. Ways that this can be done are parent and child activity regarding educational material, where the focus is on the child's ability to complete the work, and therefore the parents would need to motivate the child with words of encouragement and assistance when needed. Another aspect in which a parent can assist with John's learning challenges would to use pictures and symbols when teaching new words, as well as creating a word wall at home where John can display new words in which was late. Parents can also include a daily challenge where he is required to read a given passage, story, or sentence, after which he is rewarded when done correctly. The key is to encourage and motivate John so that he is eager to learn. Lastly, the use of manipulatives, charts, flashcards, and symbols will help John to work on his ability to complete mathematical problems in a worded format. I want to thank all the teachers and persons who assisted in providing data today, which will be considered to create this IEP. Let us move on and consider the annual goals and benchmarks. These are the long-term and short-term goals that we hope to accomplish with John Doe. Elena, the occupational therapist, will review the occupational therapy goals and benchmarks.
I will now be stating John Doe's occupational therapy benchmarks, which is as follows. 1. An improvement on writing skills. This will be an introduction to activities for stronger and steady shoulder and arm muscles. This is a requirement for good control over his pencil for writing and formation of numbers. 2. An improvement on problem solving skills. Practice, practice, and more practice. He needs to review errors made, and he also needs to add problem solving activities to his everyday lifestyle.
I will now review some of the social skills of John's goals or benchmarks for the next year. John can be given one-on-one sessions with a reading specialist for the period of this year. This will help John to learn the sounds of letters and words that deals with phonics, write clearly, understand what he is reading, and he will be able to read faster. Another goal that I had in mind for John was a text-to-speech technology that will also help him in his reading. A recommendation that I have for Mrs. Doe is that she can read to John in places where it is quiet and away from distractions, and allow him to see what she's reading. And she could also give him reading activities that involves him reading while she will correct him. By doing so, she could break down the reading sessions into smaller, manageable parts. And this could also be a way in which can help John with his reading. I could also recommend that John's school teacher place charts or flashcards at his eyesight so that he is able to see it there. He will be able to understand the words, the symbols, and all that is associated with mathematics. Since I know that John has some issues in solving worded problems, I know that John is able to perform mathematical sums when it's just words, numbers. But when it comes to worded problems, he has quite difficulty. Another suggestion for John's classroom teacher is that the use of manipulatives and visuals can be used to help him with these worded problems. Now, when John sees these visuals and manipulatives, he will be able to recognize the words and then put them together with the symbols. So he will have an idea as to which word represents what symbol, and he will be able to solve worded problems.
Now, the members of the team, as well as the parents, will vote on accepting the goals and benchmarks presented here today. Now that we all have voted, all the contributions will be considered and I will review the academic goals and benchmarks.
No, we are quite fine with the goals. We would like John to be more fluent in his reading and writing and also improve his performance in mathematics.
Thank you, everyone. Are there any questions, comments? All in favor of accepting the sections without changes, please raise your right hand. Any opposed?
In continuation, I will be explaining how adaptive physical education, also known as APE, will help John with his dyslexic learning disability and writing problems during class. Adaptive physical education is the term used to describe educational services delivered to students with or without disabilities in physical education. This diverse program entails developmental activities such as physical and motor fitness, fundamental motor skills and patterns, as well as individualized group games and sports designed for students with disabilities. The program specifically focuses on the students between the age group of 3 years to 21 years. As a physical education teacher, my responsibility is to ensure that John excels in both the physical and theoretical aspect of learning. The most important thing about the program is that it encourages the students to practice social skills in a more natural environment by allowing the students to interact with their peers without disabilities. This will be helpful for John's self-esteem. Dyslexic individuals, much like John, are picture thinkers. He thinks in pictures and not words. The clearer the picture, the better he is able to understand and remember what was said to him. Another example, when John is given instructions that I am not physically showing him, I would have him repeat back to me the picture he has in his mind to what has been asked to do. Sequence activities by using his skills in oral language to help him organize written work. Provide alternative means to written expression when doing class activities. Remedial instruction to help improve handwriting skills. I will also encourage proper pencil grip posture and paper positioning for writing. Use multi-sensory techniques for learning. Provide note-taking support or allow him to record instructions to help with his disabilities and handwriting problems.
I recommend the following for John. 1. Multi-sensory approach. This is using as many different senses as possible, such as seeing, listening, doing, and speaking. 2. Visual props. Providing visual props for instructions and organization. 3. Visual sequencing tasks. This is using visual cues. 4. Numeral formation. Teach explicit formation and do repeated practice of numbers to help build muscle memory rather than relying on visual skills. 5. Visual modeling rather than verbal instructions.
Please remember that all these services begin once the IEP is in effect from tomorrow and will end 1 year from now. We will meet in 1 year time to review the progress made on these goals. Now we are going to consider special services transfer of rights assessments, modifications, and progress reporting. Let us all place these pieces up to a vote. All in favor? All opposed? The transition process. It has been agreed upon by all the members of John Doe's team that the best educational settings will be that of a special needs school. We believe as a unit that in this setting, John will be able to get all the necessary assistance needed to forward this intended IEP. Now we are going to decide on an appropriate placement for John. Ready? Thank you all for attending this IEP meeting. Are there any questions from team members or the parents?